respect to what we're currently doing, I'd like to just kind of quickly give you an overview of what the departments are doing. The Public Works Department is more than just the Public Works Department. It also includes the Parks and Rec program. And for the most part, the action that we're taking based on the guidance of limiting the amount of mass gatherings is we're closing or suspending almost all programs because they then will, they exceed the limits. The senior center is now closed. The FMAAA meal program is closed as well. Again, all Parks and Recs programs have been suspended. Park restrooms remain open, but in these times, for some reason, we're getting the toilet paper stolen. And so it may lead us to reducing the hours or closing the restrooms. Again, we'll continue to evaluate that. In Public Works, we still have street operations that continue. We've been meeting with our staff to assure that our operations and that we continue to provide those critical services to the city and the residents. We are also contacting contractors to make sure that we've got folks on call to expedite any issues that might come up. Park maintenance will continue. And again, our priority is the sanitation of the restrooms and the trash receptacles. Again, we're opening and closing those restrooms daily, kind of depending on, we'll be evaluating that, whether there's going to be a reduction of hours or closures altogether. Facility maintenance continues its focus on sanitation, making sure that things are continuing to be addressed and cleaned to assure that there's no potential exposure to any of the staff here. One of the other critical systems is the water system, and we need to make sure that that continues operating. We are currently looking at other contracted staffing certified operators to ensure that if we are in a situation where one of our employees, a critical employee, is quarantined or is otherwise sent home, that we can quickly bring in state certified operators to assist with our water system. We are doing the same thing with the sewer system. The sewer system, just like the water system, runs 24/7, 365 days a year. And currently, one of the identified individuals who had met a risk category who has been sent home is one of the wastewater operators. Again, we're currently in contact with a couple of certified contractors who can step in and provide service. We actually are going to be bringing in one of those contractors at a limited hour basis to ensure that if we need to expand that service, that we've already got someone in-house identified to assist. Solid waste connection is done through our contractor, Mid-Valley Disposal, and they have already developed their own emergency response plans. Should there be a need for them to, based on employee absences due to the virus, they already have plans in place to either extend hours or extend days to make sure that trash continues to get picked up. And currently there has been no impact to the water system, sewer system, or solid waste collection system. All that continues to operate to serve the residents and the citizens of Sanger. In the Community Development Department, code enforcement continues to operate. We have now shifted to a complaint basis as opposed to a proactive basis. We're also doing as many inspections from a distance or even from their vehicles during this time. With respect to inspections, we do have our in-house inspectors, but we are considering and reviewing options for the use of what we call third-party inspections, where the contractor and the developer actually contracts directly with a third-party inspector who will still ensure that the inspections are done to state building standards. But this is a way for projects to continue moving forward at the option of the contractor or the developer. And it offsets any vacancies or employee issues that we might have in inspections. Again, one of the individuals who had been identified, actually two of the individuals who have been identified in home are building inspectors. So currently we are looking at our inspector contractor to bring them in 48 hours, 4 to 8 hours initially to make sure that we have someone on hand to supplement our staffing. With respect to any plans regarding future City Hall closure to the public, again, we have plans in place to ensure that we can continue planning, building permit, building inspection services in the interim. Again, with respect to finance, one of the main things we did again was doing the waiving the shutoff and late penalty fees. Currently, we're evaluating a process to have alternative payment locations. You'll see, for instance, PG&E has different locations where they can send folks who receive their services. They don't have to go to a PG&E office. They may be able to go somewhere else. So we're currently looking at some of the locations in town to see if we can have alternative locations for people to come in and make their utility payments. In the fire department, one of the changes is that we will have, again, with respect to limiting public access, we will have limited public access. We will still be able to provide emergency services for anyone who needs to go to the fire department, but we'll be limiting any other non-essential public access. I would want to note that the CERT team was activated and actually went out and visited a number of identified seniors, typically the seniors who participate in the Senior Center meal program. And those visits were held yesterday to ensure that at least there is someone checking up on those individuals, and we will be continuing that process. We have the list of identified individuals. We've got the wonderful volunteers from the CERT team, and it's a good match to ensuring that no one is forgotten during this time, so we'll be continuing those checks. The police department is probably the department that has the most limited impact. We cannot shut the public doors, we cannot reduce what we're doing. We may in the future be moving towards a prioritization of calls if we start moving into whether it's shelter in place or some other issues like that. But at this point, the PD department of all the departments is the department that is most business as usual for the most part. So that kind of brings us up to what we're doing for the present. I do have one more section about what we're doing in the future, but at this time I'll turn it back to the mayor.
I was just going to say we should probably post that plan because it's such a great plan on our webpage, probably with the Sanger scene, just because the citizenry is not here. They don't really know what's going on. They want to see that we got boots on the ground. They want to see our plan. They're worried, they're in panic mode, and I think this would ensure safety to them. So I think it's a great plan. We can show the citizenry that we are taking action. The city's there for them, continuing to keep them safe like they always do. And maybe if we can add something as far as some type of safety zone, like at the fire department or a certain sanctuary place, to where if a traveler's coming through who feels ill, they can go and check themselves out instead of going into one of our supermarkets or restaurants for a grab and go and spreading that disease. I know we can't test for the disease, but what the hospitals are doing a saliva swab, and if you get a common flu or some sickness that is known on that test, it shows up, and we know it's not the coronavirus. And if it doesn't show up, well, then we know there's a higher probability of that person contracting that virus, and we can isolate that traveler. So I think that's just food for thought for the city. And other than that, once again, I think we're on it, and I greatly appreciate our staff.
Thank you. Councilmember Hurtado?
No comments other than just I want to thank all the departments that are taking the initiative to prevent the spread of the virus and to to keep all employees safe and the citizens of Sanger safe as well. So thank you guys.
Thank you. Mr. Garza, do you have anything to add? Or would you like to comment on what we're doing now?
I don't.
Okay, thank you. We'll move to the
Press conference, and there are some indications that he is calling for a statewide shelter in place. I would not suggest we take any action until we're clear whether or not that information falls in line with an executive order or if it is another suggestion. Clearly, the governor has the authority to make that issuance, and we would expect if that's his intention, it would be through an executive order. Again, this is changing so rapidly, I would just suggest that we take a slight pause before we start considering what it is the governor is doing in his press conference right now as we speak.
great, thank you.
Have been done in Sanger, and I know we all have our personal opinion as to what's occurring here. We, however, continue to seek and get guidance from CDC, state, and the county. So no one here can say that the virus is not in Sanger. The lack of testing is a false positive, so we don't know. We cannot say with certainty that the virus is not here. Statistically, what the CDC is telling us is that the virus is in every community. We just don't have a confirmed case, and lack of testing doesn't mean that there is no virus here. Again, the federal government is trying to do a great job in bringing testing online, and we, like all other communities, soon will have the ability to have testing. But the lack of confirmed coronavirus should not suggest that there is no case of the virus here at this point, or in any community across the nation.
Thank you. City Manager, please.
What Governor Newsom just said in his press conference minutes ago, that really takes us up to that point. There will be further information from staff as we understand the implications of what the governor has just said this evening, and I'll turn it back to you for any questions.
Maybe a question and a comment, but I mean, it seems like we said, everything changes every minute with the situation, and what Governor Newsom did literally, 15, 20 minutes ago certainly does change the game. I certainly want to pass along my thanks to the city manager and his staff for all the work that they've been doing with this constantly fluid crisis that we've been dealing with. The last 2 weeks have been nerve-wracking, anxious, a little bit scary, a lot scary actually. I just kind of want to say that your city, to people listening on the phone and in the audience here, is your city is here for you, and we most certainly are going to continue to provide the services that you've been known to need and expect from our city. But I just want to remind you that also our state government is also there for us too. State Senator Hurtado and Assemblyman Rambula and our national representative Congressman TJ Cox. Those are also resources that we will certainly lean on as we go on through this coronavirus crisis. This was an abbreviated meeting. Councilmember Ontiveros kind of read my mind a little bit that we kind of want to focus on the serious issues. But with that being said, I do want to remind you that your city government continues to work. We will have a meeting in 2 weeks. We will have to deal with city government issues, and we're going to do it the best we can. As the mayor mentioned, we're going to improve our conference call capability, but we must meet. We have to take care of city business in order for us to survive this crisis and to come out, as we will be coming out Sanger strong. So just keep an eye on that. And with that, I just want to go ahead and just remind everyone to take care of each other, check on your elderly neighbors and family members, and you know, respect each other at the grocery store. It's not a time to panic, not a time to hoard any type of groceries. We're all in this together. We're all Sangerites. A lot of us were born and raised here and known each other for a large portion of our lives. So we're going to take care of each other. We're going to come out of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Do you have anything to add there, Councilmember Ontiveros?
I do, Mayor, thank you. I'm very uncomfortable with this because we just knew everything that pertained to our staff who's here to serve the citizens who own small business. And it's the small business that makes sure they have a paycheck through their tax dollars. And here we are saying that, oh, there's a gap in something they already have, the vacation, sick leave. Granted, our government is allowing funding for extra, that's fine, that's great, but we knew every detail about it, but nothing for the people that make sure our doors are open through tax dollars. And that's very uncomfortable to me. I think this should be approved last until we can approve something that helps our small business owners, because they're the reason why the lights at City Hall are on. People inside City Hall are here to serve the citizens, not the other way around. And we're gonna take $90,000 from our children who need parks and lights at those parks for people who already have sick leave and vacation pay at the expense of the taxpayers. I think we need to take care of our small business, keep the lights on in our grocery stores, help that first, which creates the funding mechanism to make this shortfall possible. That's the way the economy works. So this whole thing just makes me uncomfortable, the way it's being presented, that we knew nothing how to help our small business, but you know, we had a backup program for this vacation pay, and we found out that there was a shortfall, and here we are, taxpayers to the rescue, 90,000. It's just uncomfortable for me.
Right, thank you, Councilmember Ontiveros. City Attorney?
The gentleman who's speaking in Spanish, can you please mute your phone? We cannot hear counsel during this conference.
City Attorney?
It's a conference call.
Hey, it's been very difficult because there have been some very discourteous people in the audience on the phone who have been talking, who have been cursing, who have had blow dryers on, and there's a lot of people out there on the phone that are respectful and trying to listen and trying to comment. So I hope at the next meeting, we have more admonitions periodically during the meeting.
Thank you. Did you have anything to add, Councilmember Hurtado?
No, just, you know, just basically what my colleagues up here said on the dais, just to stay strong, we're in this together, and that we're here for you guys. So I know that staff is trying their best to make sure that everything continues to run, and you know, just coming up with that game plan to make sure that things are running here in the city of Sanger, and we're just in this together, and that's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you. I'm gonna turn it over to the audience, present audience, and thank the staff for doing an outstanding job of getting this information, compiling this information. Now we gotta get out this information. And I know it's gonna be changing probably in the next, you know, not even 24 hours, but it's imperative for us to get out this information. And please remember, you know what, as one of the other council members said, don't panic, don't hoard water. Your city water is safe to drink. I have been assured by the Public Works Department that you can drink your tap water. It is completely safe to drink. And again, we are all in this together. If you know elders, go and seek them out. If you know somebody that might be ill, go and pay them a visit. We're all in this together. It is not just one person or a group of people. It is an entire community, and it's a community of Sanger that I'm proud to be part of. So the rest of the agenda items were canceled. This meeting is adjourned.